Hi, everyone. It is Barry Davis with Bible Boost here with another scripture I'd like to share with you. This is a great passage from John 16:33. Jesus is speaking to his disciples. He has just finished talking to them about the fact that there are going to be people coming out against him, that there are wicked people out there that are going to try to destroy his ministry, and that he will only be with his disciples for a short time after he is giving them this talk. If you want to read the context of this, I suggest you go to John 16 and read the whole chapter. This that we're looking at is actually the very last verse of that chapter. So this is the culmination of everything that he has said before. So we want to break this down, and I think it should be an encouragement to you and maybe raise a few questions with you. We'd like to ask you, if you're watching this on YouTube, to like and subscribe so that you will be notified whenever we post more of these Bible verses and take time to look at them with you. And if you're watching on some other social media, that's great too. We'd appreciate it if you would share this video with the people that you know. So let's break it down. First of all, it's Jesus speaking, as we said. He said, "I have told you." Now he's talking to his disciples and describing all these things to them that are going to happen in the future. And we need to remember that at this point, he has not faced the cross yet, but that's coming very soon. So he says specifically, "I have told you all this so that." Whenever you see those words "so that" in the scripture, it means the purpose is coming, okay? I've told you all this so that. So it's speaking of something very important that is about to be said, and that's what he's sharing with them here. So I've told you all this so that this will happen. You may have peace in me. Now, I want to ask you a question. For those of you who are Christians, how many of you would say that you have peace in your relationship with Jesus Christ? Well, it probably depends on what we mean by peace, doesn't it? If we're talking about a life with no turmoil, with no hardships, with no war, things like that, then we'd all have to say, no, we are not experiencing peace at all. Jeremiah talked about people calling out peace, peace, but there wasn't any peace, because when we're talking about physical peace rather than spiritual peace, then none of us are experiencing it, at least not for a lifetime. It's limited sections of our life, we could say, that there's peace going on. In my lifetime, I don't think there's ever been a point in time where there isn't some type of war or conflict going on someplace in the world. But you notice Jesus said that you have peace in me, not in the world, not in the situation you find yourself in, not a lack of turmoil, but a peace and understanding that you are in a relationship with Jesus Christ, and no one can take that away from you. And no matter what happens to you in this world, people can knock you down, they can drag you across the floor, they could crucify you. They cannot take away the peace that you have in your relationship with Jesus Christ. Nobody can do that. Jesus even says that here on earth, you're going to have many trials and sorrows. And you know, I could ask you to list, you can put some if you want in the comments below. What kind of trials and sorrows have you dealt with in your life? What kind of trials and sorrows are you dealing with right now? I want you to think about the people that Jesus is initially addressing this talk to, his disciples. We know from later history that these guys are going to be persecuted. The tradition is that Peter was crucified upside down. We know that all of these guys had some kind of torture, some kind of pain, something thrust upon them that they would not have had if they had not been in a relationship with Jesus Christ. So Jesus says, have peace in me. You're going to have many trials and sorrows. So the fact that he puts all those together lets us know the fact that the peace is a spiritual inner kind of peace. But you're going to have trials. You're going to have sorrows. You might get cancer. Your spouse might die. Some horrible thing could happen to you or to your family. I'm not trying to be a downer here, but we know that that is life. But nobody, again, takes away the peace that we have in Jesus Christ. Now, I want you to notice something else. Jesus says, take heart because, so here's the reason, just kind of like the sew that up here, right? So that this happens. This is why you can take heart, because I have overcome the world. Now, I want you to think about that for a minute. At this point in time, Jesus has not faced the cross. He has not risen from the dead. And oftentimes when we talk about Jesus overcoming, that's what we're speaking of, the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And of course, Jesus did overcome through the resurrection. There's absolutely no doubt about that. But he's claiming that he's overcome the world even before any of those things have taken place. Perhaps if we consider the fact that elsewhere we find in the Bible that Satan is the god of this world, and Jesus is saying, I've overcome that. I've taken care of all that. None of this is going to be a problem for any of you. And if Jesus has overcome the world, as his followers, that means that we also overcome the world through him. Not by our own works, not because we ourselves are so special, spiritually speaking, but specifically because we are sons and daughters of God, and we are brothers and sisters to Jesus Christ. So you have peace today, no matter what's going on. As horrible as it might be, and I realize some of these things are horrible that I've listed, and many, many things that I have not. As horrible as things can get, you always have Jesus, and you will overcome. There's no doubt about that if you are in a relationship with Jesus Christ. I'd appreciate your comments. I'll do my best to answer all of them that I can. If you have questions, feel free to ask them. And again, please like and subscribe, and we'll look forward to seeing you again very soon.